This is the third of our videos in the collection that's looking at using our MCE calculation engine tool to configure and display data from in this case we're looking at a real-time electricity site which is being uploaded from a current cost meter. So in the first video we looked at the setup configurations and using the setup to how you can use that to add new calculations, modify new calculations, add costs, targets, add conversions and change some display area. So that's the first video looking at this, a quick look at that setup. The second video looked at some of the existing graphs that are used within this web page, and then what we're going to do is we're actually going to look at also now setting up some widgets. Actually this is a slightly older widget page, so there is another widget link, webclient.meniscus.co.uk/widgets, and so I'm actually going to use this one for this particular demo. So we will just be updating this one soon, but this is the latest one and it's easiest to use. So when you're logging into the widgets, when you're logging in on the in the actual application itself, you go into create the widgets. You can see the API key has been automatically added, and that key is just available, as I mentioned in the first video, from up here. So this is some of your settings, and that it always displays your API key. So I'm just going to add my API key into here. Then just connect to server. So when that's done, it's gone and got all my data populated into this web page. So these are my sites. These are all the items that I've got, and then these are all my data types or item types which are available. We have 7, so you need to familiarize yourselves with each of these. All the units which are associated to this, so this is all configured from the setup within the configuration tool. And then you've got a whole range of graphs. So what we're going to do, we're just going to create a couple of widgets for you. So the first one we're going to do is just do a real-time graph. So we're just going to get I'm going to choose this is electricity 1, which is my site which I've got my raw data coming into. So I'm going to choose raw data. I'm going to add that onto a list, and you can see here this is the name of the site, the customer, this is my site, my name of my meter, and then this is the data that's going to be drawn. So it's raw data and it's a line graph. So I'm just going to add number 3 as well. And then what I've got in the date and time options, I can display this over, I'm going to change that to hours, I'm going to update it over the last 12 hours, and I'm going to add a refresh rate here of 120 seconds. So this will now refresh this data every 2 minutes, and that's effectively when the raw data comes in. So I'm just going to copy this iframe here. So what I can now do is go into my create dashboard site, add a header. So I'm going to call this a test site. Oops, sorry. And I'm going to add my widget in here, which I've just copied from the widget creation widget page. And that's added my widget onto the page. So I'm just going to go back, and I'm going to clear this item down, and we're going to add in a table of data. So I'm going to use my daily electricity use. So this is where I've got my raw data has been entered in watts. Then it's calculated that into half-hour kilowatt-hour data for the site, and then also the site calculates this into daily electricity use. So here I'm going to choose my calc data. So this will be my summed kilowatt-hour data for the day, and I'm going to create this as a table. So add that to the table. So here's my name, my customer, my site name, the type of data I'm getting, and the table is the output data type. And I'm just also going to add in my target. Add that to the list, and I'm going to add my not my target cost, my cost into that. That's it, and then I'm going to do that for the same for electricity channel 3. So change that to calc, add that, target, add that, and cost, add that. So now I can output that data. It's because this data is at the moment I'm still using last 12 hours, so that's not good enough, so because it doesn't, the calculations don't update that frequently for daily data. So this, I'm going to go back over the last 60 days, and I'm just going to turn the refresh rate off, which is putting a value of 0 on. So now if I output my data, this is my data in a table. So again, I'm just going to copy that graph, go to my dashboard, and I'm going to add a widget, and that's the code I've just created. So now I've got my data. So if I want to, I can change the place of those data by just clicking the top of the graph. You can see there's a little X which will delete it. So if you click sort of in line with that, you can move the graph around. So that's now my real time, that's my table, and I can scroll through that. And I'm going to just add in, just to give it, I'm just going to add in another one. I'm just going to add in a spline an area table. So we'll just do the similar data, but just to give you an idea. So we go back, we're going to change in the calc. I'm going to add in channel 1, and I'm going to change it to an area, add that one, and I'm going to do the same with channel 3. And output that. So that's now a spline table. Sorry, an area table. So again, I'm just going to copy my iframe, come to my dashboard, add a widget, paste the code in, and OK that. So now I've got that, but I just want this one above. So actually, it's sometimes easier to put that one below. This can be a little bit tricky, but there I've got my graph. This is now showing at 1401. So we'll look at that. Now, basically, what I've done here, so I've used the widget page to create the code, the iframe code for the data, and I can paste that into, effectively, this is an HTML page, and I'm going to copy my HTML page. So that's my HTML page copied, and I can download that as a single page. Now, if I just go in and show this in the folder, so this is one I created earlier. So if I double click on that, effectively I can now close this down. I'm going to close that down. I'm actually going to close that one down, and this HTML page I can place anywhere, and effectively it'll just give me the same data, and I can zoom into the data. I can look at all that. I can go through the table, and so what these widgets do is it gives you a huge amount of configuration ability to configure your own dashboards, and that's really its purpose. And this one will be updating. So actually it's 1403, so it's got the latest data. The last one was 1401. So this data, this graph will continually move to the left as we get new data coming in. So I'm not going to wait. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it won't. So that's effectively what the widgets look like, and as I say, that's all saved as a page. So thank you very much indeed for your time. Bye.